So to give the question at the end of the last part a serious answer, the Prothean data beacon is designed because the Protheans are biologically strange. We'll find out more about that in Mass
Oh,
Effect 3.
what the fuck?
It's designed to download information directly into a recipient's mind. Unfortunately, humans weren't built for that sort of thing, and Shepard has a hell of a hangover right now.
Yeah, we're talking about that texture pop in from
Oh,
last
on her
part.
on her
and-
crotch, yeah.
Yeah, no, the entire thing. I thought she was wearing some sort of hospital garb, and it just becomes battlefield uniform like in a second's notice.
Yeah, that happens way more often than I care to count, and it's one of the main reasons I wanted to record the PC version of this game was to avoid the texture pop-in, because it happens sometimes in really important cutscenes, but
Just sucks all the fun out of it.
Oh no, I think it creates its own kind of fun, personally.
unfortunately, apart from the AMD processor problem that my computer has, which would have rendered two significant parts of the main story really, really ugly, I can't run the game well enough on my rig to use the texture mods, because there is a high-res texture mod set for Mass Effect 1 that makes the game look gorgeous. Arguably better in some ways than the other two games. It's a really big mod, though, and it takes a while to install.
Oh, it's probably got to be.
It's
dozens of
gigabytes and
gigs.
gigabytes.
Yeah.
It's a it's like full 4K texture packs for everything.
Damn.
So you need a really good computer to run the game that way. But if you
This
can,
game on the PC is like 10 gigs already.
yeah. And we say that like it like a lot of space, and at the time it was, but nowadays we're pushing 40 per game.
Oh yeah, I think was it one of the Uncharted games? I believe Naughty Dog tweeted out a picture of it was like a 250 terabyte hard drive before the thing was full before the thing was.
It was
made into.
Uncharted 3, uncompressed before they did all the magic with it, was 24 terabytes.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
Jesus.
Oh jeez, man.
Also, I have to correct something from the last video. It was Deanna Troi from Star Trek The Next Generation. I'm
Oops.
sorry, comment section. It was Deanna Troi.
It was Brett Spiner.
You realize, okay? At the most, it's been at the least it's been a day since you made that mistake. So they've probably already, assembled outside your house in Canada, and with torches, pitchforks, and a nice high quality noose with your name on it.
They can't
Then you-
find me in the forest.
Unfortunately for you, your house is a Pokestop. You have seconds.
I wish.
It's okay. All you got to do is hold on. Let's spin the wheel of Canadian stereotypes. Okay, good. You just got to hide yourself in a bottle of maple syrup, and you'll be fine. Okay.
Me and my pet beaver don't like that joke.
Now, although Anderson has a streak of just blindly siding with Shepard no matter what the circumstances, there is a reason that he's on your side with Saren. In the first of the Mass Effect novels, Mass Effect Revelation, you're going to notice a lot of those TION names with Mass Effect shit, by the way. Anderson and Saren had their first meetings in that book. It was basically the backstory of how Anderson almost became a Spectre himself. And he was working with Saren for part of that story. And Saren is not necessarily the main antagonist of that story, but it sets him up for where he is in this book. It also develops his character quite a bit, but none of that character development is really relevant to Saren in this game in particular, because stuff happened in between that book and this game that completely changed his reasons for doing what he's doing. And we only ever find out in this game what his motivations are right now.
Just a question. How canon are the books? Are they, like, canon in the sense that the extended universe Star Wars was, where they just kind of made them?
They are canon in the sense that they were written by the same person. BioWare had, I should say, before these particular writers left the company, a habit of releasing novels written directly by the head writer of the games. So there are two prequel novels for Dragon Age Origins that were written by David Geider, who was the lead writer for Dragon Age Origins. There are 3 Mass Effect novels written by Drew Karpyshyn, who was the head writer for Mass Effects 1 and 2, but not Mass Effect 3. I should stress that, because that's important to why the ending ended up the way it is. Hi, Karth.
So do they bring in aspects from the novels into the games, or?
Yes, at times. It's not as vital as you'd think, but there are mentions of stuff that happened, and you can feel some of the effects, like the events of the second Mass Effect novel left the Quarian race in particular with a really hostile attitude toward a group called Cerberus, and that's important at the beginning of Mass Effect 2.
Yeah. Referencing or adapting a continuity from a different source is always a tricky thing when it comes to anything really, books, movies, video games, because there are players who will gladly, I guess in Lewis's case and Clement's case, will read those books and enjoy themselves, but there are players who will strictly stick to the video games.
Yeah.
And maybe confused when they get to the second or third game in the series and it references something that they have no idea existed.
Well, Mass Effect 2 does have a slightly clever way of letting you know that these books have stuff in it that happened. There's a gift shop on the Citadel in Mass Effect 2 where you can buy the first two Mass Effect novels in game, and they're not actually novels. They're just little short codex entries that are summaries of those books. But like the second one references, the Quarians, the Biotic Girl, and Cerberus, and you're like, oh.
Instant cassette. They're out in stores before the movie's even finished.
Yeah.
At your local Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
Even then, it's not super necessary information, because Mass Effect 1, although it doesn't go into the details that the book does, it still mentions the fact that, Anderson was going to be a Spectre. He's had run-ins with Saren before. Saren hates humans. He's sure of it. And there's always... You can definitely tell there's animosity between the two characters, even if you haven't read the book.
If you press Anderson for answers later on, you can get a truncated version of the events of Revelation, but he never mentions the other main character of the book, Kaylee Sanders, and the specifics of what was going on. He just mentions the parts that are relevant to himself and Saren.
Does he have the actual book out in front of him when he's telling you all this? It's like,
no.
Well, according to this.
So why do you hate these guys so much? Well, let me tell you. It all starts on page 1. I was a young lad.
On the subject of Anderson, though, you can learn the basic gist of who he is in the games, but he is an incredible badass in his own right, because he was one of the first, if not the first, to complete the Human Alliance military's N7 Elite Training Program, which is the same program that Shepard completed, which is why Shepard's armor has N7 on it while no one else's does. The N7 program is such a rigorous Marine training regimen that it's prestigious just to be accepted into it, even if you don't finish it. Like if you make it partway through, but can't handle the pressure of the higher levels, you're still considered a major badass.
Oh man, I dropped out of badass school. Oh guys, we don't want to fuck with this dude. He's serious.
There's a whole specific description of what kind of training you go through. It basically covers everything from combat to survival on hostile, inhospitable worlds. And it's a really long, lengthy, involved set of training descriptions. I don't really even know. It's got 7 tiers to it, and the 7th level is the final level, and it's only if you complete the 7th that you get to wear the N7 designation on your equipment and uniform.
Oh, that's the thing that's like on all the Mass Effect stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
See, after every level, you get a Chaos Emerald, and once you have all 7...
You become Super Shepard?
Super Shepard.
But that's no fun. Shepard is bald. Please ignore the please ignore the redhead in front of you. She's bald. She's just wearing a wig.
Oh.
She's very sensitive about this.
Oh, so the rest of her...
So basically what would happen if Nappa went super?
Yeah, she just glows gold and the red hair is just kind of flopping.
Dr. Chakwas unfortunately doesn't have many conversations of Mass Effect 1, but she's a recurring character in all 3 games.
Damn it, Jim.
Goodbye, Commander.
One of the more recognizable voices, I would say. Now, unfortunately, even the Normandy is not immune to Mass Effect 1's love of slow elevator rides. Most of your party members and the weapon shop are down here.
Holy fuck.
You're going to be riding this elevator a lot. I have a theory that it's this one elevator that made people hate the elevators in this game so goddamn much, because it's the one elevator you're constantly riding. And there's not even any party members with you to have random conversations. There's no radio with news broadcasts like with the other elevators. No, it's just you and the elevator.
Yeah,
What they need is the Wayne Manor to Batcave Batpole.
Man, I can't wait for this elevator to take me to Kaiden in 3 hours.
They've got buggies that can drive on the moon, but they don't have an elevator that can go more than 2 miles per hour. Okay.
Now this guy is fairly useful considering the equipment system. Mostly I just use him to sell off my random shit, because if you let your inventory pile up in this game, you're going to be spending an hour just sorting through it. Because the inventory scrolls so goddamn slow, it's ridiculous. But you buy license items at other stores throughout the game universe, and your requisitions officer between missions will rotate out the equipment he has in stock, and he'll get progressively better and better stuff the more licenses you have.
Great question, Shepard. What are licenses and why do you need them?
I'm glad you asked.
Do we have time to discuss copyright strikes and fair use?
Oh, man. But yeah, I don't think this guy even has a name. He's just Alliance Requisition Officer. So let's just call him Aro.
That's his name.
Yeah, I was just about to say this. Let's just call him Aro.
He was born for this shit. Who names their kid Alliance?
Now,
Do you live in space, John? That could be as common of a name as Steve.
Technically, Ted, Earth's in space.
Oh, shut up! Earth is different. Earth is a special planet. It's better.
unfortunately, it would not be until Mass Effect 3 until Shepard had the bright idea to sign up for an Amazon account. So, in Mass
They didn't have Prime. Well, back in Mass Effect 1, they didn't have Prime yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Mass Effect 3 has a console in the ship where you can log on and buy any item from any shop you've already visited, but you have to pay a convenience fee for buying stuff from your ship, so the price gets marked up a bit. It's still cheaper.
Damn
It's
shipping.
still cheaper to go to the ship. It's to go to the store itself and buy stuff in person, which is what I always do. But it's there if you don't mind spending a few extra credits for that gun you want.
Unfortunately, Amazon Prime and Mass Effect is measured in decacycles, so you're not entirely sure what's the free 2-day shipping.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
This elevator is the reason I felt the need to actually cut out my trips around the ship between missions. Okay, Clement, thanks for doing that, because you know what? You too will have that stupid elevator theme stuck in your head by the time you're done this game. The Normandy theme you're hearing as we run around the ship is exclusive to Mass Effect 1. Now, there are mods to reinsert it into Mass Effect 3, but Mass Effect 3's Normandy has no music at all, and it's really eerie considering the tone of the game, where you just hear the hum of the ship the whole time you're running around.
Yeah, that was definitely something I missed about 2 and 3. I really love the Normandy track here.
So what you're saying is they're playing this track on the loudspeakers in the ship at all times.
The funny thing about Alliance ships is that they seem to like dark, eerie atmospheres. Because in Mass Effect 2, the Normandy is designed in that game by a different organization, and it's a lot of bright white everywhere. But the same.
Oh, Apple.
Yeah, but that ship gets taken into Alliance custody between games, and when you get it back in 3, it's all dark again, and the consoles have been changed to red for some reason. So it's like, oh, so you want this to be a depressing war. Okay.
So we have to board these things essentially to take mass transportation. It's how we warp to different galaxies or something.
All right, Mass Effect travel, faster than light travel, is only fast enough to get you from one planetary cluster, from one planetary solar system to another solar system in the same cluster in a reasonable amount of time. In order to actually travel across the galaxy, you need to use the Mass Effect gates. Functionally, they're basically warp gates, but what they actually do is they create a corridor of mass-free space that flings you like a slingshot across the galaxy. So, Citadel space in the Milky Way Galaxy, while it seems to cover most of the galaxy, is just a bunch of pockets of whatever space they've been able to explore in the general vicinity of each relay.
So just for like an inside joke or a laugh, are they like your mothership called like a bullet ship? That's essentially what you are. You're a bullet going inside a gun.
It does work. Mass Effect technology, the principle that allows ships to go fast, is also the principle that's used to shoot bullets from the guns in this game. The ammo system, which I haven't touched on in this game, uses a heating system because the actual ammo of the gun is just a metal block that the gun shears off chunks from and fires with Mass Effect to shoot it super fast. It's kind of a weird sounding system.
You have unlimited ammo in this kind of game.
Yeah.
Only in Mass Effect 1, unfortunately. Technically, the ammo in Mass Effects 2 and 3 isn't ammo, it's ejecting your heat sink, but it's functionally ammo.
Ejecting your heat sink.
One of the weirdest graphical things about Mass Effect 1 is the holograms, and this is fixed in the PC version. But in the console version, you can see the inside of every individual part of the model. Look at the eyes. You'll never unsee that soul-sucking stare.
Ew. Why did you tell me that? Oh.
Yeah, the holograms in the PC version are fixed. They just look like, they're supposed to. But they look really bizarre in the console release. Just one more reason to play the game on PC if you can. This is Ambassador Udina. You will learn to hate him by the end of the series. And that's before he actually does anything worth hating. He's just got one of those personalities, He's the grumpy old man and the politician all rolled into one.
Yeah, just getting that from reading these sentences.
Basically, he's Donald Trump if Donald Trump knew how not to sound like a jackass 100% of the time.
He's the ambassador of all humanity.
Which is ironic, considering that I'm pretty sure this guy's Arabic. Actually, it's interesting because I think the human ambassador before Udina in the novels was also in that general ethnic vicinity. One of the things that that you'll notice as you go around in the Mass Effect universe is that the human beings are a massive melting pot of different ethnicities all mixed together, which is fairly realistic considering how far in the future this is. But like, Anderson is the only one that I've seen a direct description for in the novels, and he's like African mixed with Native American mixed with a bunch of other things.
Just a melting pot of ethnicity.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You can't be racist against me. I'm everything.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like those everything people taking our jobs.
Yeah, that's basically that's basically where the human race stands at this point in human history. They've gone beyond ethnic boundaries. Now it's just humans and aliens.
Yeah, I was gonna say they've gotten over their hatred of each other, but now aliens have a thing against humans, so now they have to prove themselves to aliens.
Son of a bitch. Have we learned nothing?
Aliens only have a thing against humans because humans are so goddamn arrogant. But
yeah, humans are kind of dicks, really.
we'll have time to talk about this specific element of the story over the next few parts because it's a major recurring thing in Mass Effect.
I don't know. I think as the inventor of Twinkies, we can't be all bad.
Oh, we invented a whole lot more than that in Mass Effect, but more on that next part.
Ooh, a giant Twinkie.